Hello everyone, it's Gilgamesh here again, and I'll get straight to the content. As I mentioned in the previous video, in addition to the string type, I also want to introduce you to the int type, which stands for integer. In case of an int, the way it is used is a bit different from that of string. First, as you can see in the variable declaration, int is used instead of string. You may notice that I in int is not capital, and that is very important since Java is case sensitive, meaning lowercase letters are treated by Java different from uppercase. So an int with small I is not the same as writing int with a capital I. Another difference you might notice is that the value you provide to an int variable does not have quotes, while the one you provide to string does have quotes. Also, the value you provide to the int variable should strictly be an integer, not a decimal or a word. Over here you can see some values that will work with int, like whole numbers like 25, minus 48, and 10,587. While these values will not work. Here there's a decimal, which won't be accepted, and a string literal, which is basically a piece of text, which will also not be stored inside int. Now that you know what code on the right means and why do these differences exist, the code to declare and initialize both and string integer might seem kinda similar logic-wise. Like, first line you define the variable, the only difference being the type, and the second you provide a value to the variable, only difference being the value provided. So now that we know how a variable is defined and initialized, we would like to actually do something with it. And the easiest thing is obviously printing it onto the screen. For this, just write the name of the variable between the brackets of the println function we already learned previously. Be sure not to use quotes when writing the variable name. Otherwise, it will literally print what is inside the quotes, instead of printing the value which is stored inside the variable. So in this case, as you can see in the screen, it will print the variable since you cannot see quotes, and it will print the value stored inside that variable. However, if we would add quotes to myVariable on the screen, it would literally print the text myVariable. That's what it will print out to the screen. This is the full code to create a string variable and print it out. As you can see in first line, we define the variable and also initialize it as well. As you can see, we provide the value right away, just in one line, as we learned previously. And in the second line, we are using the println function to print the myVariable, which has to be same to the name you provide here. You print it out to the screen. As you can see, same goes for the int variables. if you want to use multiple variables in your code, you'll have to use different names for them. For example, over here, as you can see, the first variable is called myVariable, and the one which is the int variable is called myVariable2. Later on, if we want to use them, we also refer to the appropriate names. Like you see over here, we first want to print the myVariable, which contains the hello there value, and the second one we want to print myVariable2, which contains 12. When naming a variable, first character has to be a letter, an underscore, or a $sign. After the first character, numbers may also be included inside the variable name. So this first letter over here, it can be an underscore, another letter, or a $sign. And all these, Y, V, any one of them basically, can be either an underscore, or a letter, a $sign, or a number, which is one of the options which is not included in the first letter. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Apologies for not being able to release videos for a while. I've been pretty busy, hope you understand. However, stay tuned for the next video. In that video, I'll be playing around with the code and showing you how to use the knowledge that we already possess from the previous videos to create some simple programs.